Welcome to the Beyond Bloated podcast. I'm Carly, a certified health coach helping women ditch their bloat without having to follow super strict and stressful protocols. As someone who's struggled with all sorts of digestive issues for over 5 years, I know exactly how you're feeling. I also know that there's a way to feel better, and it doesn't have to involve tons of expensive supplements and insanely restrictive diets. Join me as I share all of my bloat-busting wisdom to help you say goodbye to that bloated belly and regain your confidence. It's time for you to move beyond bloated.
Hello, everyone. I have an exciting surprise for you today. Been a hot minute since I've done an interview, but today I have an exciting one lined up. Today I have Chloe Rose on the podcast. I, of course, met Chloe through Instagram, and she has an incredible story that she's going to share with us today about how she was able to put her PCOS, eczema, and other symptoms into remission with simple diet and lifestyle changes. This amazing discovery sparked her passion for helping others to do the same, so now she runs her own health coaching business. I was drawn to Chloe because our stories are very similar, but our symptoms are different. This is a great example of how poor gut health can manifest in so many different ways. Although our symptoms were different, the approaches we took were very similar, and the results were life-changing. I can't wait for you to listen to Chloe's inspiring health journey, so let's not waste any more time. Thank you for being here, and I'm so excited for our conversation today.
Thank you for having me. I'm so excited.
I would love for you to start our episode off by letting us know a little bit about your journey and what led you to become a holistic health coach.
Yeah, so my journey really started with my symptoms. Prior to starting and experiencing my symptoms, I had very normal health. Like growing up, I didn't have any crazy health issues, but around mid-high school, I started to experience a lot of fatigue, and my cycle was irregular, and I had acne, which is more normal for teens anyway, but it was really fatigue was my main symptom that shifted my thinking to, wait, maybe something isn't right here. This isn't normal. And then it progressed as I got older, and through college, I started experiencing more symptoms like brain fog and mood swings and eczema, bloating, frequent infections. Got on birth control my freshman year of college, and that masked the symptoms of PCOS and irregular periods. It was really just that sort of Band-Aid. So I still didn't really know that much was going on with me despite my symptoms for many years. And it wasn't until I got off of birth control and I never got my cycle back regularly that I then decided to do additional lab testing, which brought me to being diagnosed with PCOS and hypothyroid and low blood sugar. And then I also started developing eczema. Yeah, it's just been such a journey. And I think what opened my eyes to this way of healing and just medicine in general is that food and lifestyle really can impact your health on a very deep level. And I'm saying, like, my testosterone was through the roof, and within a couple of months of just food and proper supplementing like saw palmetto and resveratrol and things like that, my testosterone decreased by like 30% within a couple of months, which is huge. It really took me seeing the labs and feeling this way to realize that there really is something here, because prior to that, I was just a skeptic and I didn't think much of health. And I just want to empower other people to know that they could do the same for themselves, and they don't need to live every day feeling super fatigued and foggy and moody and upset. And it's just not a nice way to live when it doesn't need to be that way. So I think that really is my mission with health coaching, is to just empower other women and other people that they can feel better with food and lifestyle.
I love that, and I totally agree, because I had a similar journey to you where high school, I was mildly not okay, but it wasn't that noticeable. And then I went to university and ruined my life. So I wasn't aware either. The symptoms that I was experiencing are played off as normal, because I'm sure people around you are like, oh, I'm tired too, or I'm bloated too. So what made you realize, oh, this isn't normal and it's something that I can change?
Yeah, I really think that first telltale sign was when it was every single day. I couldn't wake up like with no energy, but B, it was every single day around 3 or 4 p.m. I like couldn't keep my head up and I couldn't do my schoolwork. I couldn't do my job. I mean, I pushed and somehow I did it as best as I could. But yeah, just that crazy chronic fatigue was what made me just realize like something has to change. Like I can't keep living like this and I'm so young. Like I was like 19 years old or whatever. And I was like, yeah, something needs to change. And then that's what really just opened the floodgates into the research and seeing more integrative and functional practitioners instead and things like that. But it was really just the symptoms getting to a point where you're like, something has to change.
Good for you for wanting to change because it's not easy and it's hard, like we said, to know that it's not normal and it's something that you can change. So the fact that you acknowledged, hey, I'm 19 years old and I can't get out of bed, that's kind of messed up. What was your next step? So did you research on your own first or did you see like a holistic practitioner? What was your next step?
Yeah. So, like I said before, I was just feeling really poor with all of my symptoms. And I had a feeling that I had some sort of hormonal cycle imbalance just because my period was never normal. I got it late. It was always irregular. It was never really on time. So I started researching and PCOS kept coming up. I went to my OBGYN and I said, I have a feeling that something's not right here. My cycles aren't regular. I'm very tired. I'm exhibiting a lot of the different symptoms. And my doctor immediately was like, you don't have PCOS. You're not overweight. I was like, no, lean PCOS is a thing. About 1/3 of women with PCOS are actually not overweight, but still have the high androgens and the irregular periods and the polycystic ovaries. What really started me there was just going to my OBGYN, demanding labs and getting the diagnosis. And I was on that Western medicine route. I was on birth control. I was on thyroid medication. Like I was doing the things and it wasn't helping. At that point, I think I was like 20 or 21 at the time. And I was just thinking like, I'm so young and I'm at the start of my life and I'm already being told that I need to be on medication forever. They just want to keep increasing my dosage because my thyroid wasn't getting better. Nothing changed. My labs didn't change. That's what really led me to want to get more answers and really just not taking no as an answer. I just didn't want to take, you have to be on medication forever as an answer. So that's where I started going the more integrative and functional route. And ever since then, like the path just completely changed. And that's when I really started to get real relief and real remission from my chronic illnesses.
Wow. Yeah, that's so frustrating. First of all, that you have to fight so hard for a diagnosis. It's like, you know your body best. And the fact that you go and see a doctor and within 10 seconds of meeting you, they're like, no, you don't have that. How do you know? You haven't tested me. You literally looked at me.
Yeah.
And I had a similar experience where I had chronic gut issues and I would go to the doctor and they would tell me, you're thin, you're healthy, you're fine. And it's like, bro, what? They're not related. Yeah, I'm thin. I never said I was overweight. I said I have chronic gut issues and something is not okay. But they look at you, think you're young, you're thin, you're probably fine. And that's that. So good for you for continuing to push for answers because that's exhausting. And I know all too well how that feels and it makes you feel terrible. But you ended up getting the diagnosis. So that's great. And then you went the holistic route. And so what was your first step? Like, were you focused on diet or was it more lifestyle changes or combined?
Hey everyone, Carly here. If you are tired of feeling bloated and uncomfortable, which I know you are, I have something that can really help. My free ultimate guide to bloat busting. I've been there myself, and I know how frustrating it is to try super restrictive diets and expensive supplements without getting results. If those methods were going to work, they would have worked by now. That's why I created this guide to offer you a different approach. In the ultimate guide to bloat busting, you'll learn techniques to listen to your body and eat with intention, avoiding overeating, and choosing foods that truly benefit you, tips for proper hydration to support digestion and reduce bloating, a guide to delicious foods that promote a healthy gut and how to easily incorporate them into your meals, and effective methods to manage stress, which plays a huge role in gut health. These simple, practical strategies can make a big difference in your daily life, helping you feel lighter, more energized, and comfortable in your own skin. Ready to ditch the bloat without strict diets or costly supplements? Download your free copy today at beyondbloated.com/ultimate-guide and start your journey to a bloat-free life. Now, let's get back to it.
Yeah. So when I started working with my practitioner, first of all, we did so much testing, which is typically the protocol when you're going the functional route, if you're doing it the right way. Yeah. So we did a ton of testing, and we started first with food. So his diet is called like the free diet. It's basically the autoimmune paleo protocol, but his is a bit more fine-tuned and tailored to me and my labs and my food intolerances. That's a bit more strict. And that was really scary and difficult for me at the time. It's just something that I will never forget doing, because prior to that, I legit was like, I'm Chloe and there's no way I could ever stop eating Cheez-Its, or like, I love sugar so much. What is life if you can't enjoy that stuff? Like, I 100% was on the other end of the spectrum. So I remember looking at the AIP protocol and being like, oh my gosh, there's no way. But I did it. Yeah, I did it. And I think it was just the fact that I started to feel more energized within a week that really just pushed me to keep going. But yeah, we started with food and just the elimination diet, and that's where the ball was rolling. And I also at the same time was supplementing a lot. Looking back, I think I was supplementing too much. I don't know if I want to get off topic, but I feel like that could be sort of tricky with the more like holistic and functional practitioners, is that sometimes some of them push like a lot of supplements. But regardless, like, it was meant to be. And I'm still very happy with that route and the healing that took place there, obviously. But yeah, it was really just food and supplementing. And I was just so dialed in on the food part that the other lifestyle portions just fell into place with it. Like, when I just had that solid foundation of I'm disciplined with food, it made me want to be disciplined with like my sleep, my hydration, my movement, and all of that too.
Yeah, it's crazy how it's like a domino effect. Because again, very similar for me. I was disgustingly unhealthy. I drank Sunny D and vodka every weekend, and that's something nobody should do. So when I also got my food intolerance list, which was every food on the planet, I was like, what am I supposed to eat? Like, I'm going to die. But like you, I did it for a while. I've since reintroduced a lot of foods, as I'm sure you have as well, or?
Yes.
So we do it, and then we start to feel better. And then you're like, oh my God, I feel better. This is working. This is worth it. And then you start doing more healthy things because you want to. Like, you're like, wow, I could feel this good. Like, I'm going to keep going. I'm going to go to bed at 10 p.m. every night because I feel great the next day. And people make fun of me for it, but I don't care. You really get into a routine, you start to see the results, and then you want to keep going.
And that's a huge part of my social platform, especially on TikTok. I talk a lot about it, but also just with my coaching clients, I always tell them motivation is low-key like a byproduct of discipline, because you need to have the discipline to first put in the work. And once you're putting in the work and you start to see some results, that's what will keep you motivated and going. I had a little bit because it took me to the functional doctor, but it took the discipline to stick with my AIP elimination protocol at the very beginning. And then once I started to feel better, then the ball was rolling, and then I had motivation. So I always like to say that discipline is a form of self-love. And of course, it could be abused and turned into something else and be toxic. But discipline is the foundation of really A, getting results, and B, getting that motivation from there.
You definitely need to be disciplined at the beginning because it's not easy to just change everything that you've known. I mean, for me, I lived 24 years of my life one way. And then at the drop of a hat, it was like, you need to change everything. And it's like, I don't know how, but I started small. Like I eliminated gluten and dairy first. And that's hard enough. That's where I started. And that's where I was like, oh my God, I feel quite a bit better just by doing this. You know, I'm not cured, but okay, that works. So I'll keep going. And then you kind of get over it. Like,
Yeah.
I know people would rather die than give up cheese, but I don't know. I'm not on that bandwagon. Like, I really don't give a shit about cheese. I don't. But hey, some people, they love it and it's harder for them. And I totally respect that. But once you give it up, if you need to, and it doesn't even have to be forever. Like, I've actually slowly started reintroducing like ghee and, you know, a little bit of butter and some things. And I'm okay. So you don't have to think of it as like a death sentence. If you stick with something long enough, you can feel better. You can actually heal from it. And then you can revert slightly back. You cannot go back to your old ways because that is what got you in the shithole in the first place. But you can have a little indulgence here and there if you do the work. So if you could let us know, what are the key things that you did to get you to where you are now?
Yeah, that's a great question. The first thing would be just eating a real whole food diet. It's time tested, and I just saw such a difference in my body when I went from eating the processed, junky, sugary foods to just eating foods that love me back. That made the biggest difference. And it's like you could feel your body thanking you because it's giving you more energy, better mood, clearer skin. It's like you're glowing and your body's thanking you. So definitely my biggest game changers are eating whole foods, practicing stress management, which I am a very high stress, anxious type of person. And that's something that I'm still dealing with every single day. But developing some sort of routine or at least having rituals to help with stress management, meditation, breath work, tapping, journaling. And then also, I think I would just choose exercise and movement. I feel like those are the three basic things: food, stress management, and movement. But yeah, I think movement is it's a great stress reliever and it's great for energy. It seems pretty rare that us humans in our day-to-day lives now encounter like a physical challenge because we're so sedentary and mobile most of the time. I found myself, I'm sitting at my desk like 10 hours a day. So incorporating movement into my day, whether it's just a walk in my neighborhood or an incline walk of the treadmill or doing weightlifting, helps so much with my mood and just my general sense of accomplishment of overcoming that physical challenge, because I don't really have that physical challenge, thankfully, in other parts of my life or in my day to day.
Yes, that makes a lot of sense. Those are the key things to focus on no matter what you're dealing with.
Yeah.
Eating a primarily whole foods diet. I mean, do I still eat sugar? Yes. Do I eat pounds of it? No. And actually, I was just having a conversation with my boyfriend today about movement because people always promote the gym and it's like, you have to go to the gym. You got to work out at the gym. And it's like, you don't. You do not have to go to the gym. I don't go to the gym. I don't like the gym. It makes me uncomfortable. I lift weights at home and I go for walks and I'll go to spin class and I'll do things that I enjoy. It's about moving your body. It's not about having to go to the gym. So whatever that means for you, you just need to make sure it's something you're going to keep doing. And if you hate it, you're not going to keep doing it. It's irrelevant what it is.
Yeah, absolutely. And I completely agree with you where it's like, it really just boils down to finding some form of movement that you enjoy doing, because that's what will make it sustainable. You won't stick to it, or it will be very difficult to stick to if you hate the thought of doing it. You want to feel excited and energized by the thought of it, not depleted and you're anxious and just you don't want to go, because how are you ever going to stick with that? You want it to be fun.
And it's the same thing even with your diet. If you absolutely hate the food that you're eating, if you're eating broccoli and rice and chicken every day because you're like, this is healthy, I can eat this, but you're miserable, your gut is not going to be able to digest that either, because your mind is like, yo, F this. The mind gut connection is very real.
I know.
And if your mind is stressed, if you're upset, if you're angry, whatever emotion you're feeling, if it is an extreme emotion, you're not digesting your food. So you need to find the healthier versions of foods that you like. Like, I still eat pizza and burgers and cake, but I eat the better versions of it. Like, I make it myself. I get the organic beef, whatever. I still enjoy the food that I'm eating, but the food is good for me and I feel good eating it. So it is definitely a balance, and you should never force yourself into eating healthy and going to the gym and doing all these things if you hate it.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
Yeah, absolutely. Like, another thing I like to practice and talk about, I call the replacement rule. So let's say you want to eat healthier and your favorite food is pizza. Instead of not ever eating pizza again, just replace the pizza with some healthier version of a pizza. Like, exactly like you're saying, maybe you find a recipe with ingredients that you're not intolerant to and make you feel good. Or maybe you could find some sort of restaurant or some sort of place where there's a bit more compromise or something. Health does not function in a vacuum, and you have to approach it from a sense of like, how can I live this way forever? And obviously not having pizza ever again is not sustainable, and you're just going to feel bad, So it's like, find the balance between the two and just, it's like replace and just find better options to suit. And then before you know it, it will just become some sort of like lifestyle habit that you don't even really need to think about.
Exactly. You don't need to restrict, just replace.
Yeah.
Better things. I'm very against heavy restriction. I'm just kind of realizing it now, like in recent months even. I like low-key had a weird eating disorder because I was so heavily focused on what I could not eat. And like, it's not healthy enough, or this is going to trigger me. And it was like an obsession. And yes, I was doing it because I was trying to feel better, but I was too strict and I didn't need to go that hard. And it messed me up for a while. And now I'm way more balanced. Like, I'll go out to eat and I won't stress about what oil they're using. And, oh, there's a little bit of butter in the gluten-free waffle. All right, I'll eat it. And I'm fine. I'm always fine. So I definitely agree. Replace, do not restrict. Now, I would love for you kind of flex a little. What have you accomplished? So I know you were missing your period, you had eczema, all these symptoms. Where are you at today?
Where I'm at today, I mean, my period is back to normal. Thank God. I mean, we still have a little like hiccup here or there, maybe like it will be a couple days late, like earlier this year that happened once. But yeah, overall, all of my androgens and my labs are back to normal. Like, my thyroid is normal. Everything's normal, which just feels like such a big blessing, because I really thought that I was going to be feeling that way forever. And honestly, that's what I was told by my doctors. And yeah, my doctor that I met with a couple months ago looked at my labs and he was like, no, like, you literally are fine, which is just so crazy and so amazing to hear. And especially like with my eczema, which actually occurred later in my health journey, like only a year and a half or 2 years ago now. And yeah, I'm just so glad my eczema healed. Like, everything's healed. Like, I'm just so proud and happy. And it's just such a relief. And that's really like the crux of my coaching, is I just want to show everyone that like they could do it too. It's real.
I'm so happy and I'm so proud of you, because it's hard work. It's not easy. So anybody out there looking for the quick fix, and it's like, Chloe, what supplement did you take that saved your life? It's like, no, man, she changed her diet. She changed the way she slept. She's managing her stress. And it took you years of hard work, because think about it. My symptoms hit me at 24. I was living a disastrous life until the age of 24. That's 24 years compounded, messed up gut. It's not going to happen overnight where you fix that. It takes a lot of time and effort, and it takes time just to change your habits to begin with. I'm still developing habits through this day, because I'm like, oh, you know what? I need to get more sunlight. I'm going to start going outside in the morning. It's like, I'm still evolving and improving my health, because it never ends. You're never like done and then you can just go back to living this shitty life, like, then you shouldn't want to. Once you get to a point where, like you said, you thought your life was medication and eczema and feeling exhausted forever, and now that is gone. I mean, I don't want to put words into your mouth, but I'm sure you have no desire to go back to the life you used to live.
No, yeah, no desire at all. Looking back to my old self, that was like, I can never quit sugar or go gluten-free. Looking back, I'm like, no, I'm so much more fulfilled and thriving and like living now than before, because yeah, that's real health, is just feeling great. And I really don't miss it, and I really don't think about it. And when I do encounter, if let's say I'm at a birthday party, I will have a slice of the cake, or if I'm going out to eat, I'm still going to try to pick the best thing off the menu most of the time. But maybe if I'm on vacation, I'm not going to pick the best thing on the menu, and I want to enjoy. And I feel like I'm at a really great place with that balance. And I just know that on the day to day, like 90% of the time, like I don't think about it. This is just how I eat and how I live, and it's just how I function. And yeah, it just takes time. Like it's a journey. It's a health journey. And like some of my symptoms and things got better, and my labs got better within a couple months. But really over the years is where you see the real transformation take place. It's not a quick fix, but it's just so beyond rewarding and beneficial. What is life without health?
Exactly. And that is why we are now health coaches, because we are just desperately trying to get this message out, because it changed our lives. And we're like, please let us help you. On that note, please let everybody know about your health coaching practice and where they can find you.
Yeah. So my health coaching is, I take one-on-one clients. So we do meal planning, wellness planning. You get recipes, grocery lists, 24/7 texting. It's a really robust program. My social handles on TikTok, I'm just at Not So Paleo. On Instagram, I am at notso.paleo. Couldn't get the matching username there, but that's okay. Thank you so much for having me. This was like just such a great conversation, and so nice to finally meet face to face.
Yeah, I had a great conversation, and I highly recommend you check out Chloe on all of her socials and work with her if you are feeling pulled to her, because she did a lot for herself. And when you do these things for yourself, that is where the real passion comes from, because it started with you. And when you resolve your own issues on your own, you're like, oh my God, I need to help people. Those are the kind of people you want on your side, the people who are passionate and they really care about you. So check out Chloe. Thank you so much for this conversation. I had a great time and I loved learning about your story. It's very inspiring.
Thank you so much for having me on your podcast.
Thank you for listening to the Beyond Bloated podcast. If you enjoyed today's episode, please take a moment to subscribe and leave a review. And don't forget to share this podcast with your fellow gut goddesses. If you'd like to chat about today's episode, send me a DM on Instagram at beyond.bloated. Until next time, bye!